Welcome to this section. Today we're diving into sources of law in British Columbia, the foundation that everything else in real estate law is built upon. Don't worry if you've never studied law before. I'm going to break this down into simple, practical concepts that you'll actually remember when you're out in the field. In the next few minutes, we'll explore what law really is and where BC's laws actually come from. So what exactly is law? At its core, law is simply the set of enforceable rules that govern our society. Think of it like the rulebook for a board game, except this game is called Living in Society, and we're all playing it whether we want to or not. These aren't just suggestions. They're rules with real consequences if broken. Now, in British Columbia, our laws come from two main sources, and understanding both is critical for your real estate career. It's kind of like knowing both your mom and dad. You need to understand both sides of the family to get the full picture. The first source is what we call common law. The second source, statute law. Both are equally important to understand. The first source is what we call common law. Common law is judge-made law that evolved over centuries. Imagine you're looking at a house, and suddenly the floor creaks. You look down and see hundreds of years of footprints that have worn a path in the wood. That's common law. It's a system built on precedent, where judges resolve disputes between people based on customs and previous decisions. This system didn't just appear overnight. It originated in England after the Norman conquest in 1066, yes, almost 1,000 years ago, and made its way to British Columbia during colonization. The beauty of common law is that it continues to evolve as new cases emerge and judges make new rulings. Now for the second source, statute law. If common law is like a path worn into the floor by centuries of footsteps, statute law is more like someone coming in and deliberately installing new flooring. Statute law consists of formal written laws created by government, federal, provincial, or municipal. These are the laws that are deliberately drafted, debated, and passed by elected officials. For instance, the requirement for real estate agents to have a license didn't exist in common law. That came from the Real Estate Services Act, which is statute law. This is government saying, we need a specific rule about this, and creating one. Here's a real estate scenario to make this concrete. Imagine you're helping a client buy a waterfront property. You'll need to understand common law principles of riparian rights, rights related to waterfront properties that developed through court cases over time, as well as statutory regulations like zoning bylaws or environmental protection acts passed by government. Missing either source could lead to serious problems for your client. Let me ask you this. How might your work as a real estate professional be affected if you only understood statutory laws but had no knowledge of common law precedents? Take a moment to consider that. Another question to ponder. Why do you think it's important that both common law and statute law can change over time, rather than remaining fixed? Here's why understanding these sources of law matters in your day-to-day work. Every transaction you handle, every contract you help negotiate, and every piece of advice you give will be influenced by both these sources of law. When you understand where our laws come from, you develop a sixth sense about potential legal issues before they arise, making you an invaluable asset to your clients. You've just unlocked one of the most fundamental legal concepts for your real estate career. This understanding of where our laws come from will serve as the foundation for everything else we'll learn. In the next section, we'll dive into the doctrine of stare decisis, and trust me, it builds directly on what you've just learned. This principle is what gives our legal system stability and predictability, making it possible for you to give reliable advice to your clients. See you there.